All right, what's up, everyone? This is the watch this video for Wednesday, August 21st. The SPY, I talked about this yesterday, gapped up to the very top of the most recent range. A range simply being, if you picture a line here and here, that's where the SPY is trading between right now. And that gap up, look at that narrow range it had compared to all of these recent candles yesterday. Now today's starting to roll over. And to me, that's perfectly normal action. But it was pretty dead out there. Pretty dead as far as A-plus setups. I tweeted earlier today, if I can find it here. Here, I just copied and pasted it onto WordPad. That's what I tweeted today. Steps to day trading success. Learn A-plus setups. Only trade A-plus setups, and when there's nothing to trade, trade nothing. And that to me, that described most of this afternoon and a lot of yesterday as well. Yesterday, look at that narrow range. So that's what we do, right? There was not a lot to trade, and I try to lead by example. I wasn't in chat making a whole bunch of calls because there wasn't that much. As a matter of fact, really, I think I only took a couple trades all day. Well, probably 3 or 4. 2 of them were in SOLY. Had that nice gap up on news. And for those of you that weren't in chat, let me go to 2-minute candles just to show you the setup. So this was actually the opening 4 minutes. So you had a 2-minute buy setup if it gets over right at the half, right? 1250, half numbers, whole number inflection points, right? With the catalyst above, high of day above, after a morning gap. Called this long, right between 1250 and the high, kind of a Tokyo style, anywhere in the 1250s or low 1260s, right? Because it moves pretty quick when it moves. I actually got filled at 1252. And these are 2-minute candles. So really within 6 minutes maybe, up almost $1. That was a nice little trade. And then also called it over this little fly gets forming right here over 1325. And we got to push through the high of day again. Between those 2 trades on SOLY, I made $807. And to me, that's a good day. And so I really wasn't that interested in trying to force anything after that. All right, so let's, I should have this on watch tomorrow. I don't really like the topping tail, but probably should be on a chart somewhere. So as I'm babbling, I'm going to put this on a chart for tomorrow, but it's not on the list. Maybe it should be. Who knows, right? What are we watching for tomorrow? TLRY just goes back on bounce watch. These pot stocks have just been decimated. We did not get an afternoon break out of a range, and that's generally what I look for in a beaten up stock like this, or one of those intraday setups we talk about in our course, right? So that goes on watch. RKDA almost back down to the lows from 5 days ago, and it's such a crazy mover. Volume's really tapered off. I think this is a pretty good setup for a potential bounce tomorrow. It's back down below the 8-day. We'll see though, only with a proper intraday setup, right? A-plus setups or you don't trade. TRNX, this one's kind of obscure, but had this really nice move to test basically $1 about 4 or 5 sessions ago, and then has pulled back on lower volume to the 20-day. I actually think they had a good news today or yesterday with Wendy's, right? Big company, Wendy's. So like they're in 100 stores now. They're a water conservation system. I don't know much about it. I know a little bit about what else they do. But still, that was a decent sounding headline after a nice pop back here, back down to the 20-day. I do think this is a decent bounce watch, TRNX. I'm not a fan, really, of stocks under $1, though. PSTV, those of you that know me, know that, okay, this maybe deserves to be on bounce watch, but this huge day it had here, it's already down below that. So now you've got a whole bunch of bag holders. Not to say everyone who took it this day, we had some nice trades in it in chat, but you still know there's a bunch of bag holders in it now. So this makes me like this very little, but as a day trader, it might give a setup for a bounce. And you can make the argument that this started at about $4 before it ran to over 16, right? So now it's at 7, which is, more than a 50% retracement, but it's not a complete round trip yet. And so I still think it's worth watching for a potential turn back up tomorrow, but I'm not in love with it by any stretch because of all the bag holders in it. NVAX has been a really nice mover. Now we got 2 red days in a row on declining volume. Also interesting that this thing topped out right around 705 actually. So I do like this one for a potential long tomorrow, only with an intraday proper setup, right? A-plus setup. CM, Really nice move today and a very strong close. We're going to see if we get any kind of A+ intraday setup in that one. JMIA. This one's, again, not very pretty. You had that big move yesterday. If I go to 5-minute candles, you can kind of see it better. There was that big move yesterday, and then today you got a partial retracement. So when I look at the daily, I don't say, hey, this is a beautiful daily, but I'm fully aware of this big rally from, give you some numbers here, 1360 all the way up to almost 1580, and then a little bit higher on the gap up this morning. So that's a huge move. Even though I don't love the daily, I do think this could be trade in a narrow range and then an upside breakout tomorrow for a day trade, obviously. So I do want to keep that one on watch. Gene, Gene, I don't love this, but a nice volume spike today up into resistance. Really, this thing's had a lot of trouble at the 250 area, but maybe a red to green in it tomorrow. There's the intraday where volume came in, and still worth noting, it didn't even hit 1 million shares. So maybe my least favorite, but sometimes something like that gets going. Lumber Liquidators LL got a spike in the very end of the session right here, all the way up to almost 875 before giving some of it back. I think a stake was reported, and I think there is a big short position in this name. So even though I certainly don't love this daily chart, I'm going to have it on a chart. Right? TROV had the big pop yesterday. Quiet inside day today, topping out just below 3. I love this through 3 tomorrow, knowing that you got a potential catalyst of the break of 312, and then you've got a potential target of 328. So through 3, if this can get to that 200-day, that's a pretty nice little trade. So we'll see if it gives us a setup tomorrow. And then lastly, I've got MGI, which had this big gap up, almost gave it all back, and has worked its way back up. And now for the last, 7 sessions or so, it's flagging. So if it can break out of this flag on volume, I don't love this one, but I do want to watch it. All right, that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. We'll add some gappers in the pre-market to this list, and we'll see y'all tomorrow in chat.